If I summarize all the information, just only one or two sentences, that is an estimated 34% of all food in Bangladesh is lost or waste, meaning food grown on about 27% of Bangladesh land is never eaten, generating about 13% of the GHG emission for the country, and loss that is output or 4% of GDP, that is BDT 50,000 crores per year. So I think what is it is very clear that the problem is big and something needs to be done about it. At a very strategic level, if I highlight, then what we need to do is first to get the government on board with not only acknowledging the problems, but also trying to committing to do something about it. And then we need to get the private sector in here to take all our interventions to scale. Actually, how we do it usually. With that, actually, I would like to request my colleague, Santhan Bose, Senior Agriculture Specialist, to present actually World Bank findings regarding this food loss and waste. Over to San. Thank you.
Thank you, Samina. Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sun Thanh Vo, Senior Agriculture Specialist from the World Bank. I will present the studies that the bank did last year on food loss and waste in Bangladesh. So to give you some food for thought for this session. Okay. I am given 10 minutes, so I try to be quick and fast, so some of the slides may be skipped. The report is available online. You can search for it. If not, let us know, and then we could share the detailed report. Okay, so as we all heard from this first session, food loss and waste is unacceptable. In fact, it's a sin. I'm from Vietnam, so in Vietnamese culture, we consider food as our God. So losing or wasting food is a sin to our God. Okay, so quickly, very big picture that we are looking at is that if you look at the sphere of our planet, the food system actually the main cause of 6 out of 9 issues, so to say, to our planet, to climate change, to land use, and gain water, and adding to the geochemical flows and generating a huge hidden cost for environmental, human health, and economic. But at the same time, the food system also the victim of that very problem that it created due to climate change and due to diversity loss. So you see all of the 6 out of the 9 issue related to our planet is very alarming, right? And that leads to the unhealthy planet. Food system create 34% of greenhouse gas emission, and it uses 70% of the fresh water, and is the main cause of 80% of deforestation. And from the unhealthy planet leading to the unhealthy people, we, our human beings, suffer from our own problems, where we have over 800 million people go hungry every day. At the same time, 2.3 billion people faced with food insecurity. And the number of people suffer from foodborne illness are over 600 million people. So a lot of things that we brought to our planet come back to us. And because we have unhealthy planet and unhealthy people, we have unhealthy economy. If we look at the majority of the world hungry people are farmers. But 1/3 of our food produced is lost or waste. And the global supply chain is so vulnerable to disruptions in the world where globalization and interconnectedness are overwhelmed and dictating how we work and how we live. So, if we look at the longer term challenges, it's even more daunting and our task is getting bigger, because we need to produce enough to feed 10 billion people by 2050. But our land is shrinking. And we have the aim to lower emissions. So how can we do that without using more land and lower emission and improving the climate resilience to reduce the stress to our environment, to our planet, and to improve the biodiversity loss? And especially out of this process, we also need to lift the extremely poor who work in the food system out of poverty. Okay, so if we consider food loss and waste as one country, it would be the 3rd largest emitting country in the world. So you see the scale of the food loss and waste, that globally it's only come after China and the United States. And if you look into the value chain, then from production to processing, that is considered food lost. And from distribution to consumption, that is considered food waste. So it happened in every single region in the world, of course with different level of loss and waste. And from the World Bank, when we look at this big issue, we try to look at it through different priorities. And there are 5 of them that every other single country, including Bangladesh, are facing, which are improving food and nutrition security is one of the priority. The other 4 are improving farmers and incomes and rural poverty, conservation of natural resources, greenhouse gas emissions reduction, and substitute for food imports. So out of these 5 priorities, probably improving food and nutrition security stand the highest one, or likely the most important objective, right? But when we look into the food loss and waste, addressing any of those priority will have pros and cons or gains and lose. So let's look at them in detail. But for Bangladesh country itself, feeding its people and adapting to climate change is also the highest priority, given the country is so vulnerable to climate events. And with a growing population, we expect that the country would reach nearly 193 million people by 2050. But at the same time, nearly 20% of the territory might be lost due to the rising sea levels, and the total arable land or agricultural land of the country may be also reduced up to 30%. So, these are the very important number. If you forget anything you come in this event today, please try to remember this slide, because it is really the snapshot of the situation with the food loss in Bangladesh. So from what we have studied, we found that 34% of the available food have been lost and waste in Bangladesh. That's equivalent to probably 27% of the land had been used to produce that amount of food. And equivalent to 4% of the country's GDP have been lost. And also 13% of the Bangladesh total greenhouse gas emission can be attributed to this amount of food loss and waste. And also it contributes to 31% of the food insecurity in the country. So this is a very big issue everyone. I just repeat what we have heard from this morning. However, in order to really pinpoint exactly where the food loss and waste is happening, it's also very challenging because the data and information are really not there. And if you see some of the illustration of the data here, a lot of them are quite wide range, and without really knowing where the food loss and waste is actually happening, it is also very hard for policy making and also the practitioner to really address the issue. In the bank study last year when we conducted it, we've looked into 4 key value chain, rice, lentils, fish and mangoes, which represent the 4 key commodities in the countries, in the country agriculture system or food system. And we look at across on the stages of the value chain, from food losses to food waste, from production to consumption. And you can see that for each value chain, where the food loss and waste happening the most. For rice, production and transport and handling and storage, the first 2 stages seem to account for the most lost. Similarly with lentil, but for fish, the higher amount of food loss and waste happening at the processing and retail. For mango, we took this as a representative fruit in the country. Then the loss and waste happening more at the transport and processing stage. So with these different policy action, different tools may be applied for different value chain. And there is a little bit more detail on the fish, but you can see for different types of fish, aiming for export or domestic market, there will be different amount of loss and waste along the value chain. Let me see how I'm doing with the time. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, when we look into the different priorities, farm income, food security, greenhouse gas emission, natural resource conservation, import substitution, those 5 priorities, addressing any of the stage will have negative or positive impact on the other. For instance, if we have 50% reduction of food loss and waste at the farm level, that means farmer will have more rice to sell. When they have more rice to sell, they have higher income. When they have higher income, what do? They increase production. When they increase production, the input for farming will increase, so it also might have some impact on greenhouse gas emission, but also they need more land. So the impact on the land may be negative, but impact for farmer income may be positive. So depending on how because all of these are interlinked, changes in one priority will immediately have impact to the other priorities. And it's a delicate thing for both policymakers, practitioners, farmers, and also private sector to really take the right amount of impact or action so that we have the ultimate benefit across these different priorities. So when we look into rice, you can see this is, by the way, the model we used using the method developed by University of Cornell, University of Wageningen, and also our World Bank in-house experts to come up with this model, and we use it to do the analysis across the four value chains. So this is, you can see a snapshot for rice. This for lentil, more or less the same with rice. So I will not stay here for long. For fish, it's quite interesting because fish is one of the key, so Bangladesh is a net exporter for fish. When we have the 50% reduction of food loss and waste in fish value chain, at farm level and at the handling and transport level, it seemed to have more positive impact, but it still have the negative impact on natural resource conservation. But for the processing, retail, and consumption, when we have 50% of food loss and waste at those stages, it increases the amount of available fish for export. But the current level of export will stay the same. So compared to the overall available fish for export, the total export seems to be reduced. Because we have more fish to export, but we cannot export further. But on the other hand, if we have the food loss and waste reduced at the farm level or transport level, then we will see before the export are removed from the value chain, then we can see higher number of fish available for export. So it's quite interesting to look at the different value chain with different stages and the impact it has. Probably the same for the mangrove, but the farm income and food security increase with the food loss and waste reduction at any stage.
Sean, you have to make it. Hari. It
Sorry.
is already 7 minutes.
So, thanks, Samina. So I will not, let me go quickly to the rest of the presentation. If we compare Bangladesh to other neighboring country, we see that probably the same picture, same scenario happening. So what we can do? These are some key recommendations from the study that we put forward for each stage. For production, there should be promotion of digital agriculture, early warning system, and behavior change to farmers, and repurposing the subsidies. By the way, we also conducted some further study on subsidies that hopefully would be available soon. For transport handling and storage stage, to address the inadequate handling and storage practices, we need to promote clean and appropriate handling practices, marketing practices. We need to also address the middleman system and improve the trade infrastructure someone had mentioned in the beginning, in the morning, and also improve the road transportation practices. For wholesale and retail stage, there's absolutely the need for improving market facility and cold chains. But talking about cold chain, we need energy, we need a lot more different auxiliary facilities that could support the cold chain. For the consumer, there are important behavior changes for consumer consumption state, and also digital application for food surplus information and distribution. And lastly, on landfill, how we can promote the circular economy, where we can manage wasted accumulation, develop the regulatory framework, and also technologies for food waste management. So moving forward, there could be different instruments that we could promote, from screening and measuring food loss and waste, which is very important to provide us the correct data and information about food loss and waste. So selecting the aggregators, the farmer, private sector, processor, and large hospitality businesses involved in using processing of the food system, and also promoting startup innovation to support the food loss and waste drive, and lastly, repurposing subsidy for food loss and waste investment. Yeah, so that's very quickly in conclusion, reducing food loss and waste would bring the country a variety of positive impacts, as we mentioned, and we look forward to further discussion on this day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Son, for your nice presentation. Actually, we will take question when we will open the discussion. So for now, that's why we like to. Thank you, Bhai. Okay. If I only focus one point, that food loss and waste occurs in every stages. From production, I found it is 10%. Post-harvest handling, based on the crops, post-harvest handling 7 to 13%, and to retail it is 8 to 14%, and consumer 5 to 10%. There are few other interesting points also we could highlight, but let's start with our panel discussion. I am very glad to welcome my panelists here today. From my left side, we have Mr. Mustafa Farooq Al-Banna, Research Director, Food Planning and Monitoring Unit, Ministry of Food. We have with us Fauzia Yasmin, Director, Ispahani Agro Limited, and last one is Santhan Bho. I already introduced him. He is the Senior Agriculture Specialist based in Dhaka, World Bank. My right side, we have Dr. Kamrul Hassan, Professor, Department of Horticulture, Bangladesh Agriculture University, and also Ferdowsi Islam, former DG, Bangladesh Sugarcane Research Institute, and advisor R&D and production vegetable seed business, Supreme Seed Limited, Supreme Seed Company Limited. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for considering your time and join this panel discussion. Actually, I will start with Mr. Banna. Today's morning, when the inaugural session was going on, as well as our presentation, especially in the inaugural session, and from audience also we heard their question that 10,000 tons of food we are wasting in Bangladesh every day, enough to feed 4 million people daily, while over 52 million Bangladeshi face moderate or severe food insecurity. On the other hand, urban affluent, that is rich households wasted and estimated, I think from Ministry of Food, Additional Secretary was mentioning that estimated 82 kg of food per household per year it is wasted. And also from Shere Bangla Agriculture University, Mr. Mahabub, he also mentioned that Bangladesh spent near about, recently they spent near about 8.25 billion US dollar to import 12 million tons of food. It's a paradox actually. Wasting food means wasting water, energy and labor invested in producing it. For instance, all of us we know, producing 1 kg of rice require near about 3,000 to 5,000 liters of water, all lost if we don't, if that rice is not actually consumed. On the other hand, the biggest challenge for Bangladesh, that by 2050, it is projection that Bangladesh will be over 25 million population, and also by then Bangladesh may lose 17% territory due to the sea level rise. In that context, my specific question to Mr. Banna, that how, what do you suggest as the role of government in establishing this regulatory framework for food waste reduction? If you could highlight government role and contribution or status or the way forward, please, we would like to hear from you. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all participants. Actually, we know that food loss and waste is a major concern to improve food and nutrition security in Bangladesh. And at present, we have no comprehensive regulatory framework. Actually, we have no baseline data on food loss and waste. We know that at present, Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics has taken initiatives to conduct a baseline survey to determine food waste and loss. In line with if your definition of food waste and loss. And we have some policies and plan of action, like we have National Food and Nutrition Security Policy Plan of Actions from 2021 to 2030 that we also incorporate issues on food waste and loss. And we also prepared from Bangladesh government national pathway document for food system transformation. And in that document, we highlighted food waste loss and issues. And at present, we are finalizing the plan of action of the pathway document for food system transformation. And we identify 5 action areas. Like one of the action areas is nourish all people. And under this action area, reducing food waste loss is an important initiatives, and from these initiatives we identify some major activities to reduce food waste and loss from production to table. And we are preparing this document. And from food planning monitoring unit, Mr. Food, we have also planned to formulate a strategy on the reduction of food waste and loss in collaboration with UNFAO through a technical project. And we know that different agencies, like from Ministry of Agriculture, like Department of Agriculture Marketing, Department of Agriculture Extension, and other agencies, they are also working for food waste and loss from their side. And Bangladesh Food Safety Authority, they have formulated many rules and regulations, and from these rules and regulations, it is possible to reduce food waste and loss. And actually, considering food waste, they are very important for our availability and also income of farmers and producers, and reducing food waste loss, and that can help for reducing also greenhouse gas emissions. So this is very important, and from different agencies, from different organizations under government, they are trying to cope with these problems, and trying to work with one umbrella for the reduction of food waste and loss. And I think after getting the baseline data and other important information, it is possible for establishing a regulatory framework on food waste and reduction. Thank you from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your insight. Actually, you have highlighted different policy, food safety, food system pathway, action area around food loss and waste, and also develop a strategy for food loss and waste with coordinated with FAO. With that, also interesting to not only you, actually from the inaugural session, we also heard that you are with the BBS, you are already started this assessment to establish this baseline data for this food loss and waste. So thank you very much for your insight and way forward, and for your thoughtful insight. Now I will come to Firdausi Islam. Actually, as we heard from Banna, and also we know that in 2021, Food Planning and Monitoring Unit has developed this towards sustainable food system in Bangladesh, that is the National Food System Pathway for Bangladesh. It is a living document, and this is aligned with our key policies as well as SDG 2030. This food system pathway actually focus on 6 key areas to improve the country's food system, that is sustainable food production, modernizing the food supply chain, climate resilience and environmental sustainability. Next, the improved nutrition and healthy diet, equitable livelihood and social equity, governance and data management. So my question to you actually, how is this national food system pathway connected to Bangladesh policy implementation? We would like to hear from you actually the key connections and implementation as well as challenge and bottleneck for private sector around this food loss and waste. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Samina, for asking the very logical question. Actually, I would like to address the national food system, how food system pathway, how connected to Bangladesh food policy. There is several ways to connect. Some of the way could be policy alignment. It creates an integrated food system strategy that link with agriculture, food, health, women and child, and commerce sector, and those all are working for food system goal. And another is action plan and monitoring system way. It provides a result-oriented framework for all responsible ministries and agencies. And another way is maybe multi-stakeholder governance. It actually emphasizes the importance of coordinated governance, structure like government body, private sector, farmers, civil society and development partner can play the role. And another is data-driven decision making. For the accuracy of data, invest a digital agriculture platform for real time of crop, price tracking through mobile apps, AI-based forecasting apps. Example, Krishi Call Center. It's a apps and it helps to farmers to solve their problem. Now I come to the point, challenges or bottleneck for the private sector. Actually, first I would like to highlight women contribution. We know in Bangladesh, women make up still about 50% agri labor force, and women significantly contribute, especially in agriculture sector, such as planting, harvesting, post-harvest, and processing sector, sometimes involve informal vending, and sometimes more involved in local market trade like vegetable marketing, dairy sale, poultry, drying fish, etc. Despite this, women are actively engaged in value addition and food entrepreneurship program. But still, women are facing many barriers in food system, such as access to resource, decision making, limited access in marketplace. These are the barriers. Other challenges are inadequate infrastructure and technology. It is a big barrier. We know we have lack of cold storage, inadequate post-harvest facilities, very poor transportation and logistic support we are existing still have, and update processing and packaging system is we don't have follow. And then another inefficiency of market supply chain. Fragmented supply chain is the big challenge for us, and side by side lack of market linkage with suppliers and traders, poor quality and pricing is a important challenge. Then another section, complicated informal middleman network system. It's a very big issue. If farmer can get premium price for their product if reduce the middleman in supply chain. Data and knowledge gap, scarcity of accurate data we have, limited knowledge and awareness. To overcome this problem, we can develop a training program for traders, farmers, and women and can establish a research program under research organizations such as BARI, BIRI, and other research BLRI and other research organizations. I can cite an example in Bogura district. Farmers already, by getting training, farmers already developed tomato seedling in plastic crates, and they develop heat tolerant package by using polythene mulch paper. These are the example. And policy and regulatory environment is one of the challenge. We have lack of policy and enforcement, limited financial incentive, and weak coordination we have. To overcome this situation, provide low interest credit and insurance for agribusiness. And produce limited and reduce import duties for cold chain equipment for encouragement is smallholder farmers. We have another challenges that we have socio-cultural and economic factors. That's the big factor. National-wide campaigns could be arranged on food waste through school, TV, and social media. And consumers' awareness is another issue that influence consumers, influencing food safety and quality. Consumers demand to reduce food waste through and storage and consumption through consumption habit through better purchasing. Consumers' expectation to always improve food safety and food safety standard and compliance, and they are supporting value chain also. This is all about my suggestion, and you have more, I can add more. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Ferdowsi Islam. You have already in the key connection area, you highlighted point on policy alignment, action plan, multi-stakeholder governance, data-driven decision making, and also international commitments. But also you have highlighted in your channels and bottleneck, it was interesting to highlight the area, the gender as well as the consumer. That was very interesting and well noted. But also you have highlighted infrastructure and technology. I think in the inaugural session we have a question from the audience also there. Market and supply chain insufficiencies and as well as policy and regulatory environment, I think. So thank you very much for your insight. With that, we know, yeah, we have another private sector participant in our panel. As an economic driver, actually, private sector is always, we always look to private sector. We are running out of time. That's why I would like to directly go to Fauzia Yasmin with the specific question. That is, how can private and public sector be incentivized to reduce food loss and waste? If you could highlight both sector, that like public sector incentives as well as the private sector incentives, that would be good to hear from you. Thank you.
Good morning and assalamu alaikum. The role of food loss and waste management is not only the environment concern anymore, it is very crucial for food security, for the economic efficiency and climate change effect. To address this issue, we have seen in the presentation, in every step of supply chain, how much food we are losing. So to address and to tackle this situation, private and public sector coordination is very important. We need a coordinated approach. And for that, incentive is very much required for both private and public sector. For public sector, from the regulatory framework, we can say they can implement organic waste ban that prohibits the waste to send to the landfill. And in that way, corporation and the businesses both will be forced to utilize those wastes and reduce the tonnage of landfill waste discharge. Then to encourage food donor, we need protection. We need to give them protection from the legal point of view, so public sector can implement this so that they can encourage to donate their surplus food. Government can also standardize the date label where there is a confusion in use by and use it. There is a different type of date label. So prematurely we are losing a lot of food in that for this reason. And there can be a mandate to, from the central government to the local bodies that there is a target-based waste reduction and there should be a public reporting process. In the first session we have seen we are targeting the zero wastage level, but when, where? So we need to target every year to reduce a particular percentage so that we, according to the target, we can have a public reporting progress. And awareness, public campaign can raise the awareness. We have seen huge percentage of food is wasted at the consumer level and every level. So awareness is key. We can introduce this in the school curriculum, so it will foster a long-term awareness in the public sector. And from financial incentive from the public sector can give the performance-based project, like central government give the performance-based project to the local bodies. There can be a target and who, on the basis of performance, they can get the project. And government can give tax benefit to the donor who is donating their surplus food and who is implementing the waste reduction policy in their system. They can give the tax reduction. And low-cost fund and grant can be given to the investor or business houses who are introducing waste reduction businesses like cold chain, like processing. Because of lack of processing, we are losing agro item, huge agro-based item every year. So then innovative ideas, for innovative ideas, regulation should be relaxed, and there should have an incentive to come up with the innovative idea. Then for the consumer, the system of pay as you throw, we can introduce that. The consumer will be charged according to the volume of their wastage. So it will encourage them to reduce their waste, and they will divert their surplus to use somewhere else. So they will be target to reduce their waste. And for private sector, from regulatory point of view, private sector needs lots of incentive, because I have experience introducing biopesticide, climate resilient seed. So without regulatory support, it is very difficult to go forward with this type of initiative. So any type of new initiative which is environment friendly, which will reduce the waste in the long run, which will give the benefit, we need to give them the policy support. And tax incentive and tax benefit to the donor, or food donor, who is giving their surplus food. And I have already mentioned in the public sector part that private sector get the low-cost fund for their investment, which will reduce the waste, and lower utility costs for those industries who is contributing to the waste reduction, and enhanced tax deduction for the donors. And financially, actually, in any way, if an organization take the initiative to waste loss, the efficiency will increase, their inventory system will be efficient. In that way, through increasing the efficiency, the company will get the benefit, and their cost will be reduced. And business can create new business stream through recycling the waste, like decomposting, composting, biogas, animal food. All these investments should be encouraged. And corporate social responsibility. Nowadays, a lot of companies are taking initiative to reduce their waste as a corporate social responsibility. It is attracting the conscious customer, and it can create a brand image for the organization. And technological innovation should be encouraged, because nowadays we have technology, IoT, the sensor-based technology, which can sense the perishability of the product, so that we can reduce the wastage in that way. Then inventory, AI inventory management, through that we can reduce the overproduction. What we are facing at this moment, overproduction of potatoes, sometimes overproduction of tomato. Farmer, after investing everything, they're loser. They're losing crop, and they're financially huge loser. So technology, we should support for the technology through regulatory and through the financial support. And finally, collaboration is the key. With the collaboration with the other sector throughout the value chain, if we collaborate with either the other, there can be a platform where we can come up and collaborate to each other, and public-private sector collaboration. That landfill will be diverted. Who will take that landfill? Who will invest in it? The private sector. So the collaboration required there, private-public sector collaboration is required there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, yes, useful insight. Actually, you have highlighted the financial incentives from the public sector incentives. Actually, more elaborately, we hear from you regarding the government can offer tax credits or deduction of business that donated surplus food or food banks or charities, or you can also provide grain and low interest loans for business and farmers to invest in better storage, processing technologies and infrastructure to prevent post-harvest losses. We also hear from you regarding the regulatory framework. You highlighted about the landfills, actually, the interventions, how you want to, the private sector want to collaborate with this government. Also, as a economic driver, actually significant cost savings, you highlighted that one. With that, you also highlighted the technology innovation, awareness, consumer, which are actually, and also the good point to note it, towards zero hunger, actually you suggest to put target year by year to reduce in zero hunger. That was a good note also. And for yeah, I think you have covered, and we have very limited time. That's why I will rush, because we have another panelist here who is from R&D sector. There will be, we have lots of to hear from him also. So that's why my question for Dr. Kamrul Hassan, that how can this R&D system is strengthening to address food loss and waste issues in Bangladesh? You have to be very precise because we don't have that much time right now in our hand. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Samina Yasmin, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very important issue today, and before going to your point, I would like to share some important findings which we have produced from our study, especially the food loss and waste. You know, that's globally roughly 1/3 of total food actually lost. And in our country, there are very limited systematic study. And in 2010, one study was conducted, and that was led by me, and it was supported by FAO, USAID, and European Union. And at that time, we found that around 22 to 44% of fruits and vegetables were actually lost. And very recently, in 2021, the data which is shared by FAO Deputy Representative this morning, that was also, that study was commissioned by FAO, and that was led by me, and we found that around 17 to 32% of food, different types of foods, not only fruits and vegetables, but cereals, fish and feed products, animal products, and we have done it, and we found that around 17 to 32% of our food actually lost. Apart from that, we also estimated waste. And waste, we found a very interesting result that the waste is actually very high in the high-income household as compared to medium and low-income household. And similarly, it also occurs in the hotels and restaurants, and we have found that the restaurants of A+ category or very posh restaurants, they have got very high level of waste as compared to the ordinary restaurants. And we have also found that in the community center or food services, there are up to 30% of waste occurs. And we have found another information that more than 2 kilograms of food actually wasted by high-income household every week. So these are very some general information I wanted to share. And one gentleman in the morning asked about that there are very limited data for waste, but there is a very specific data I found from FAO that in 2021, they said that around 14% food loss and 17% food waste at the household. So this is some information I wanted to share. Now, just, how we are going to address this issue, because we are talking about this, but how we can reduce this loss. So we need technology. So first of all, I would like to share that there are in some country, our neighboring country in India, they have got a central institution for post-harvest engineering and technology. And they are actually innovating, they are developing new technologies, optimizing technologies, and they are using this, this institution for reducing their loss and waste. And since I am a professor, and that institute is actually located at the Punjab Agriculture University campus. So these sort of institutes are also needed in our country to be established. So this is one of my recommendations that this should, because there is no, shortcut. We have to invest. We have to invest our research and development. So this is one. And then I would like to share some technologies. What are the technologies available? We have different types of technologies. We have got our own technology. We can actually bring technologies from overseas. We can optimize them in our country. And so some technologies like, for fruits and vegetables. Like we have got 90 to 95% of perishable fruits and vegetables are used fresh consumption. And less than 5% is used for actually processing. So we have to put more emphasis on the fresh product, how we can preserve them, because loss is very high there. And what are the technologies? There are technologies like modified atmosphere packaging. Packaging is very important. And this is very simple technology, but what sort of packaging? Now we are just not advocating for plastic polymers. We are going for biodegradable packaging materials. For example, jute bags. One of my PhD students is working with jute bags, and that jute bag actually worked very nicely. But the problem is that jute bag manufacture is stopped now. I don't know why. That is very biodegradable, safe packaging material, but this product is not available in the market right now. Last couple of months before, we visited Sri Lanka, and one manufacturer from Nepal was there, and she manufactured this starch-based packaging material, biodegradable, and she's actually advocating all over the world that, and these sort of technologies are needed in our country, and I would urge our chemist and chemical engineering friends, so come forward to develop this sort of biodegradable packaging material for us. This is one. And there are many other technologies like controlled atmosphere storage. We have got irradiation, very safe technologies for reduction of food loss and waste. And the government has taken an initiative to establish a gamma radiation center in Gazipur under the leadership of BINA, Bangladesh Institute of Nuclear Agriculture, and they are going to irradiate commercially food for extending their shelf life. One of our paper actually published in a very good reputed journal, and we have found that onions can be stored for 9 months without any refrigeration. And their sprouting is stopped, their rotting and their everything is minimized, and ultimately their shelf life is extended. So that's why government has taken up this information, research findings, and they are going to invest a lot. So my friend has not much time. So irradiation is a technology. Then we have got, there are different processing technology. I would emphasize on canning, because people is looking for actually fresh product, because sometimes, dry product, but that is not sometimes preferred by our customers. So canning is a very, very effective technology. We can keep our fresh fruits and vegetables as fresh for an a year. We can keep them for a year. But this technology or this canning line is not, so far I know, is not established in this country till now. Whatever canning products we are getting in our market, mostly they are imported. So this can be a good technology. Then waste valorization. So whatever waste we are producing, and that can be definitely converted to different products like compost and so on. And digital agriculture is also a very important thing. So nowadays, food value chain is very complex. We need to manage them with digital technologies like mobile apps and so on. So I am not going details for that. And another important issue is that data. We need very authentic, reliable data for policy recommendations. And in our last study, we recommended that because that was a research study, and we have a very limited resources, and we have limited areas and limited products. But for our baseline study, we need actually national survey. That's why our main strong recommendation was that BBS should be included in this process, and I am very happy today that they are now on board and they are going to prepare national database for food loss and waste. This is one of the very important recommendations we made. Another recommendation we have made in our that study report is available in the website of the Food Planning and Monitoring Unit, that we need to develop national strategy for reduction of food loss and waste. There are many countries who already developed this strategy, and United States, they published their strategy last year in 2024, June, and they are very, very comprehensive strategy. Strategy should include their objectives, their plan of actions, their investment, and so on. So, Mr. Banna mentioned this morning that they are working on that. And probably within very few years, we will find that national strategy. I'm just almost done. And last one is cold chain infrastructure. Of course, without infrastructure, without investment, we can't actually reduce our loss. You know that in the developed world, food loss is very minimal. In the developing world like us, we have a very high level of food loss. Our waste is not that much as compared to the developed nation. So we have to do something for developing infrastructure, including these cold chain facilities. And I am very happy that DAM is there, Department of Agriculture Marketing, and I was a consultant of trade facilitation project, and they are actually going to develop a regulation how to actually use these low temperature facilities for different perishable food products. And I have given all those technological supports to them. And they are also working on this cold chain facilities all over the country. So I think I have taken a lot of time. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamrul. Actually, yeah, you have touched I think, all of the area. Actually, there are a few questions also in the morning session. But I found in post-harvest technology, packaging solution, waste polarization, then digital agriculture, policy formulation regarding this national strategy for food loss and waste, cool chain infrastructure. All area you highlighted at least briefly. Thank you for your insight, actually, valuable insight, and points are well taken. We have an intention that we will take some questions from the audience, but as organizer ask us to close it right now so that we can go for the next session. But after the next session, there will be longer Q&A session so that we can address all the questions from the audience. So in conclusion, actually, I would like to say, especially from food system, it isn't just a local problem anymore. our honorable advisor also highlighted this one. It's affecting our climate goals. It's actually harming our air we breathe. It's impacting the health and the communities and our communities. But the good news is, if managed properly, it can be it can bring multiple wings, reducing emission, improving air quality, even strengthening public health and nutrition. That's today actually we all care. So, and yes, thank you all panelists. Actually, all of your points well taken, and especially when we talk about this food loss and waste. And just to sort of wrap this up, and the sharing my final reflection. So I would like to summarize it like this: what we are actually building this momentum, where we are building this momentum, there is a big role for regulation to be supportive and especially, some of them can become to a very, very big strike. So, interesting, today we hear about the, from the private sector regarding gender balance and also the consumer awareness. So while we have these three things in mix, like public, private, and R&D together, there would be, a case of business to also support, responded to this problem. Thank you for the reflection. Actually, I would like to thank our distinguished panelists for doing thoughtful insight, and also would like to our audience for their constructive engagement. And with that, I would like to hand it over to Ashia. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our speakers and contributors.